guys, and welcome back here to the Dev Realm. And today we are going to carry on our series about our RTS. And if you guys remember what we done on the last episode, it's just that we basically created this selection here. And what we're gonna be doing on this part of the video, we're gonna just refine this so those options they come from settings that we can easily change, and also starting to maybe select some actors on here. Right, so what we are going to do here, first thing is we're going to go to our HUD selection, and if you guys remember, we have a couple of options in here that we can actually use. Let's just go ahead to where we have our HUD selection here. I'm going to close everything, and I am going to create inside the HUD selection folder called settings, and I'm going to open up that. I'm going to create a structure. Where is the blueprint here? I'm going to create a new structure, st HUD selection settings, right? Open up this, and I'm also going to open up the components back here, just so I can see which options I need to do it. So which options do we need? So we need the color, we need to know what actors do we want to interact with, and this is going to probably come from free. This is the reference of this object, but we can do that in a second. And we need the line size, so let's do it. So let's create here a couple of variables. So the first one, we need to know our line color. Line color. Yeah, Unreal is just messing here for some reason. Color, cool. Now this is going to be a linear color, as we know. Now we need another one, just gonna be the actors filter. So actors class selection, and this is going to be just the actor, and it's gonna be an object reference. Class reference. And the last one is the line size, or line thickness, whatever you wanna call it. Right. So this is gonna be a float. And let's just give a couple of default values. So the first one's gonna be, let's say you want a green line, and the thick line is gonna be 2. We don't have any actors we want to filter, so I'm just gonna leave this one in blank. Right. The next one that I want to do here, right click, and I am gonna create a new data table. I'm gonna search for st HUD settings, and I'm gonna call this DT selection settings. Right, so what we're gonna do here is that we're gonna open up that, and we're just gonna give a couple of default values. So let's create our first. It's gonna be default, right? Yeah, at this point, we've already done this before, if you guys remember a couple of episodes back, but anyway. And let's make sure that we can only interact with the base interactable for now. Right. We can also refine this so we can only interact with the actors that have that component attached to it, but let's do that in the future. That could get a little bit complicated right now. Now on our HUD draw selection, I'm going to create a new variable called settings selection. Actually, settings selection. And this is going to be a data table row handle, right? And this is going to be selected. Make sure you put this inside settings. Now what we are going to do, we're going to save that, and the next thing is going to be DT selection settings. It's going to be a default, and now we have this stuff already working. What we can actually do here is that we can just get this stuff, get data table, data role. Yep, that's the one. The information that we're looking for here is the RTS selection settings, right? Gonna break this, and we're gonna plug the role back. Cool. Now we can promote this to a variable called settings, right? I'm just gonna plug this here. Great, that's all done, and it's gonna be this settings. Right. Now the next thing that we're looking now is just we need to pass those settings here, and that's all we need to do. So we're gonna get the settings, we're gonna break, and we're gonna pass a couple of informations like the color, the actors, and the size. Right. Now I think for this one we don't care, for the other one we don't need to know. Now what happened, now that should be green. And now you can come in here and just play around. You can change this to whatever color you want, and that will work just as fine. For the purpose of this video, just gonna leave it green, or a color that we can actually is easy to see. And there you go. So we have that thing kind of working really, really well. So the next thing that we are going to do now is we need to now do the actor selections and return the information back to our player, right? So how can we actually do that? So to do this, you guys remember here that what we need to we're gonna do in a more, let's say in a clever way here. So you know this needs a reference for a component, right? Let's pass the reference here. So my idea is that we're going to use the same component as a reference to set variables on it, so we can actually return those on the tick event. Right, to do that, we are going to open up the draw lines, and we're going to change the type of the component here. We're going to call RTS, or actually BPC HUD draw ref. And this is going to be BPC drag HUD reference section, and that's it. So you need to do that. Now this we can pass self, and I'm gonna create another variable, and I'm gonna call selected actors. And this guy, it is going to be the type of actor, and this is going to be array. Compile it and save that. Great. So that's all done. This is all kind of set up properly now. Now what we need to do is we need to go back to our, let me save everything here, to our HUD selection. Let's open up the HUD draw selection, because remember, the interface is sending an event there. And now that we have our draw lines thing here, we already have our component reference. Let's see if we can actually select actor. Let's see if that works. So we got information right here. We got a first, we got a second, we got a selection filter. So we're gonna plug this right there. And now what we can do is just do a print. Let's get the length of this guy. Let's get the length here. Let's see how many actors have we selected. As you can see, that's kind of working. It's not sending any events yet. We're gonna do that in a second, but it's actually selecting the actors. As you can see, that is working really, really well. Cool. Now, what we can actually do is that we can get our HUD here, and we can set selected actors right here. We can just plug this down. And what happened, because we have the reference of our component here, the component already is being set all the time on these parts, so we don't need to worry about anything else. Now there's only one thing that we're gonna do here, is that when I think we need to, let me just double check. I have another example on my other screen that you guys can't see, just to make sure I have set this system properly here, which I believe is pretty much done, yeah, in a good way. Right, so now we need to know basically you know, the items that we have that we are selecting, right? So I'm gonna create here a tick event, and actually, sorry, I'm gonna call the event tick, and here we're gonna have the length of this file. I'm just gonna print this, and let's check if this is gonna get changed. So right now it's 0, as you can see. So it's still 5, now it's 5, and if I click it, it clears to 0. So it keeps the actors selected because of the gate function. Now, what we are gonna do here is that we're gonna actually use the length, and if our length is greater than 1, we are gonna actually do something with this. So we're gonna create a branch here, and we're gonna basically say, okay, are your actors greater than 0 in this case? And if it is, we are basically now gonna create an event dispatcher, and this is gonna basically be called selected items. Selected items. We're gonna also create another one which is gonna be called clear selection, right? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call clear selection here. Nice. And I am gonna call the selected items right here. Now the selected items, they need a parameter. So we are gonna create one parameter here, and this is gonna be called selected actors. And the type is going to be actors as well, because we're just returning actors at the moment. And it's going to be object reference, and this is going to be array. And we can just plug those right there. Right, cool, nice. This is going to be called selected actors. Great. Now, what we can actually do here, guys, is create a event listener for those events that we're trying to select here. Now, if I go back to my player, let's just open up our player. Let's set this up first, and then maybe in the next one we can probably do that change so the video doesn't get too long. But anyway, so in here now, what we need to do here is that we start the component, we do all that stuff. So I'm gonna just pretty much do this. So start the HUD draw component selection, and what we are gonna do here, we're gonna get the HUD draw selection and gonna bind event. So event bind, bind event on selected actors, and we also gonna copy this, we're gonna paste them, we're gonna call bind event on clear selection. Plug it right there, and that's cool. That's really good, really good. Now what we're gonna do here is that when the actors are selected, we're gonna create a custom event, and it's gonna be called just on actors selected, and this is the actors that has been selected. And if you guys remember on this example, we have a function that actually add selected actors for us. Once again, this is probably not the most efficient way of doing this, but we can just do a for each loop for each actor. We can call this VPC RTS component, and we can add a selected actor to it, right? And that will trigger pretty much everything that we already had set up before. So this selected all the selection actors. And let's do the last one. It's going to be custom event, and we're going to call on actor deselect. And now what we can do is just call this RTS component, and I think we have an event for this, API clear selection server. Yes. And I think that would work. We probably need to test use some multiplayer, but anyway. Clear selection. And let's check if this works. That works. Yeah, it works really well. And if you guys notice here, this is actually working because we also probably need to do as it doesn't select the actor, but we can probably fix this issue in the next video. But anyway, as you can see, you select all the actors, and once it's not selected anymore, it just keeps updating that for us. And I think, yeah guys, I think that's everything we have for this video. And what we can do here in the next episode is that we can start to set up those callbacks, and we can probably create maybe one NPC that we can interact with, or something that shows like a panel for us, like information about the actor. But we can do that. We can do this in the next episode. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Alright guys, yeah, so I'm just doing an Astro here. I was gonna do this in the next video, but I think it's just a quickly way of finishing this part of the section. The first thing here, I found a couple of issues here. So if you guys remember here, we have added this clear section at the end of this stop drag and drop selection. That's wrong. We should just delete this from here and move it when we actually start the selection. And just by doing that, we get rid of that bug that if you select it and you stop selection, it would delete all your items. So right now we still can do that. Now as you can see, there is another bug here, which is basically not allowing us to, as we remove the rectangle from this part, to deselect the actors. That can be solved on here. So if you go to our player, go to our event graphs, and realistically the only thing you want to do here is we're gonna do the same thing here. That I'm gonna copy this clear selection server, paste it in there, and that should fix everything unselected. Now it's not gonna do the last one because still count as part of selected. We could do something on it, but I think that's fine for now. We only want things that are interacted with our rectangle. Anyway, if you click it here again, it will just goes back to normal. But yeah guys, I think that's everything we had it for this. We can do some more polishing on this, but so far is working really well. And what we're going to be doing the next one is that we're going to create some kind of information on those actors, some kind of a UI, and we're also going to remove the one where we hover over. We probably don't need to use this anymore as we have a selection in place. So yeah, once again, thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one.